Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is undefeated Canadian prospect Hunter Lee. Hello, Hunter. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hunter, your last fight took place in June, so it was a few months ago. So the question is when we can see you in the cage again.
Like as soon as possible. I've been trying to get a fight going since like right after my last one. I took almost no damage in my last fight. I don't think I really even got hit in the head. So I was like ready to go immediately, but just like the whole trying to get someone to agree to fight me is like a tough thing here, especially in Canada. I've been calling out a lot of Canadian guys because I don't know, none of them seem to want to fight me. I've been dealing with it for a couple of years now, just like having managers or promoters try to like set up a fight and then guys just keep turning it down and not wanting to fight. So, yeah, as soon as someone will fight me, I'm ready to get back in there.
And actually, your last fight, it was Dorjan Dokaj.
Yeah.
And he was a really he is actually a very good fighter. He at that point was 4-1-1, so a very solid guy. And actually, it looked easy for you this fight.
Yeah, it's I think it's the wrestling background. So like it's just I don't know, just those years of like wrestling, like I've wrestled since I was 9 years old, I think. And just like that whole length of time of like training where most guys in Canada don't start training till they're like maybe 16 or so. If they start training with MMA, but like I've been wrestling since I was like 8 years old. So it's just a different level of intensity. And yeah, I took that fight on, I think it was 10 days notice, 9 days notice, something like that. I had to like scramble around to get like my medicals, my blood work and everything done in time for it. But yeah, I just took it and showed up and I'm ready to fight kind of whenever. So yeah, it was good. It's fun.
So actually, you may be like a little bit like Canadian Bo Nickel, also maybe not super experienced in MMA, but overall with wrestling background, and who has like a really big potential to be a very skillful and very complete MMA fighter.
Yeah, that's the comparison I keep getting is people keep saying like Canadian Bo Nickel because Bo Nickel also had trouble like finding guys to fight him as well. That's why he ended up on Contender Series for his second fight, I think it was. And yeah, like I get like yeah, it's similar, but I've also like I've been wrestling for a long time, but I've been doing MMA for a while too. Like I've been pretty consistently training MMA as my main focus for the last 4 years now. And then even before that, I did some MMA stuff when I was younger, when I was like 13, 14, 15. I did some striking and some jujitsu as well, but it was always like wrestling as my main focus.
And overall, how your like journey with wrestling started?
What was that?
How and when your journey with wrestling started?
So with wrestling, I have two younger brothers and we're all close in age. We're all like they're 2 years younger than me and then 4 years younger than me. So we've been like wrestling each other for as long as I can remember. And so we used to do like fighting tournaments in our front yard, and we would just have. I remember the rules were you either tap out or if you cry, then you lose. And we would just basically be like wrestling each other. And then as soon as like um so like in the schools here they like offer wrestling as like part of the school like as like a extracurricular activity in some schools at least. And so we saw that we could wrestle at school and like not get in trouble, and then we were like let's do that. That sounds awesome. And so I did a lot of wrestling from that. And then my main focus at the time was hockey. I was big into hockey. And I remember um we had a coach. I don't think he was supposed to be teaching us this, but we had a coach that he was like, you guys should learn how to like fight in case someone tries to like fight you, because like fighting is a thing in hockey. But we were like 12 years old. So we probably weren't supposed to be like learning to fight yet. But I remember we did like fighting practice at like hockey practice on the ice. And I was like, this is awesome. I was like, I want to do more of this. So I ended up just switching over completely to like wrestling and fighting around like 13 years old.
And what did you like? What did you see like interesting in MMA? Do you like the like punches aspect, maybe kicking, or the like mix of all the combat sports?
I like the mix of it all. Honestly, striking is more fun than grappling for me. Even though I'm a grappler, like I come from a grappling background. Um, I always thought that if if I had started with boxing, I probably would have just been a complete like boxer and not even done MMA, because boxing might be my favorite part of MMA. But I come from like a long wrestling background, so it's nice to be able to mix it up.
So in your next fight, we of course don't know when it's gonna be, but do you want to win by maybe some one punch KO?
Yeah, that's the goal. Is I would love to fight a guy that's going to be able to stop my takedowns, and then I can just like strike with him, because it's I don't know, it's tempting to strike with someone, but if you can take him down easily, like I've been able to do in my last couple fights, then it's like, why take extra punishment if you don't need to? Why get hit in the head and get some brain damage for what for like not much money at this level? Like so yeah, I'm interested in seeing eventually someone's going to be able to stop my takedowns, and I'm happy to fight that guy on the feet. I think it'll be fun.
But it can be like probably quite maybe interesting, but maybe also challenging thing because when you take somebody down and you know that you can do it, you are like sure that you win the fight. But maybe it can be like a little bit stressful when you are not able to do it, and then you have this in your mind that you have to fight in stand-up department. And I think that from the footage that I saw, it looked actually very good for you. So I think that it will not be problem, but still it can be like a little bit challenging.
Yeah, that is like a mindset that you could have. In my mind, the way that I always think about it is I'm like, I'm pretty confident like wherever I go, and also just like mixing it up. So even if a guy can stop my takedown, I know that he still has to react to my takedowns to stop them. So I'm very good at using my takedown feints to set up my striking, where he has to react to the takedown to defend it, and then I can hit him up top with like some punches, and then I can use my punches to set up my takedown. I'm very good at like mixing those together. So yeah, even if a guy is able to stop my takedowns and he's a better striker than me, then I'm still probably able to land on him, because he has to defend those takedowns hard, because I'm good at taking guys down.
And because right now we are training for a few years now, what do you think is like the one area that you need to improve the most?
One area that I need to improve the most is, I would say, like the submissions. Like I'm good at jujitsu and controlling people and like that kind of thing, but like actually finishing submissions is what I would like to put a focus on, to improve on, so that I can like finish fights from there.
And do you like fighting from your back? Of course, not in your fights, but in the training room.
Yeah, that's always a weakness for like every wrestler, is like that guard, like bottom position in jujitsu. You're just like not used to it coming from a wrestling background, not used to being on your back. So yeah, that would definitely be a weakness, is like fighting off my back, I guess.
So maybe when you will have probably few fights next year, maybe one of the win will be by like a triangle or the armbar from your back.
Probably, hopefully not. Hopefully I don't end up on my back. I don't know. I'd be not many guys are able to take me down to get me there, and I'm not going to be pulling guard in a fight anytime soon.
And if you can tell me about the gym and the sparring partners that you have there, what is the like gym and the coach?
Yeah, so I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, at a gym called Modern Martial Arts. It's got some pretty good guys there for like being in small town, or I guess not small town, but it's a smaller city in Canada. Um, yeah, we have a good coach. We got a guy named Kurt Southern, Adam Lorenz, quite a few other guys. We got like too many to even name, I guess. Uh, Guys that had pretty solid professional careers, a lot of pro experience there, and a lot of different styles of fighters as the coaches. You got guys that are good at like wrestling, jujitsu, striking, all that stuff. So I got solid coaching there. And then also just like sparring partners, we probably have the most like active fighters in the area, or the most active fighters in the area. We got a lot of like amateur guys. We probably got about like 10 guys that fight somewhat consistently here. So good sparring partners. And then for about a year there, I think like it would have been last year. I spent a year out in Vancouver and I had some good training partners out there and some good coaches out there who I'm still kind of like working with. And I'll like they'll send me opportunities if they see like fights pop up that they're looking for someone at my weight or whatever, and just like good connections out there for if I need to like go out there for a training camp. I was training with Arjun Buller, if you know he was the one heavyweight champion. I was training with him for a couple of his fight camps, and then a few other pretty solid guys out there. So there's a lot of experience in that room that I was training with out there. So if I ever need to set up a fight camp out there, I have some good guys to train with out there. But while I'm in Saskatchewan, it's pretty solid training here too.
And do you prefer to spar or train with the smaller or bigger guys than you?
I'm pretty game for any weight class. So I fight at like 185, but I'm pretty open to taking fights wherever. I'm not a big 185er, but I took an amateur fight at 205. I just weighed in at like 200 pounds because I'm not even 205 pounds. I trained with a lot of like heavyweights out in BC. Trained with a lot of smaller guys. I can kind of go wherever I need to.
And your last fight was the catch weight bout, right? 195.
Yeah, I don't think I cut weight for that either. I actually my flight got delayed for like 8 hours, so I was supposed to get in the night before weigh-ins. I ended up getting in like 4 hours before weigh-ins, and I was up all night. And then I just like stepped on the scales, didn't have to cut any weight or anything. So yeah.
So interesting, like adventurer before your fight.
Yeah.
And because right now you are 2-0, we can say that you are on the like as far as the experience on the beginning of your career in MMA. But when you're thinking about your future, like maybe 2, maybe 3 years, where do you see yourself? UFC, maybe some other promotion, big promotion?
Yeah, I'd like to be in the UFC. I've always said that like I'll go wherever is paying me. Like that's what I'm here for, is to get paid. And yeah, so I'll kind of go wherever's paying, but at some point I want to go for that UFC World Championship, because I think that is like the number one promotion right now. And so yeah, whether it's sooner or later, I would like to be in the UFC. But until then, just whoever can get me fights and whoever's paying, that's kind of where I'm looking to end up.
For now, do you have a contract with Unified MMA?
Yeah, so I have 2 fights left on that contract, but they're pretty like I've had opportunities where I tried to set something up outside of it and they were like pretty cool with me fighting outside of that contract, as long as we're like keeping in contact about it. And as long as it doesn't conflict with like if they have a fight set up for me. But yeah, I do have a 2-fight contract, or 2 fights on my contract with them left.
I think it's overall probably the best Canadian promotion. I actually like very like many of their fighters, so I think that is great place for you. But when you are thinking about the UFC and potential matchup with the fighters, maybe even from the rankings, do you see that you can beat some of them even right now?
I think so. Like I'm always confident about my abilities, and especially if I can like go somewhere and get like a real solid like training camp in with some UFC level guys beforehand. I think like I'm always confident that I can fight whoever and win. So yeah, I don't have any names specifically that I think I could beat at the moment, but like yeah, throw me in the UFC right now and I feel like I would do pretty well.
And because the like MMA game is quite crazy, and you can be at in one point right now, and in like 6 months you can be a UFC fighter. And do you see like maybe that there will be a chance for you to be in the like contender series maybe next year?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I've been calling out some guys that were on contender series. I'd like to beat a guy that the Canadians haven't done so well in the contender series over the last year. I think we've lost. I think we're 0-5 on the contender series. So any of those guys that have been on there already, I would love to take that fight and fight one of those guys. I think that would be a good way to get myself there. Yeah, so any guy that's lost, yeah, fight me. Because yeah, I would like to get on a contender series too.
And actually, you are probably in like a very tricky position because we are 2-0. So like taking fights against you, it's quite risky. And of course, you are not a 2-0 guy because of your wrestling experience. So it can be a like problem to find you a good fight.
Yeah, it's tricky because like all the guys that have more than 5 fights, they all say, "Oh, I want someone with more experience," and then all the guys that have under 5 fights are like, "That's too hard of a fight for me." So it's a tricky position to be in. But to all the guys that are over 5 fights and are turning it down because I don't have enough experience, I have I wrestled for Team Canada for many years. I have a long wrestling background behind me. I definitely have enough experience to compete with any of those guys.
And did you watch a UFC 308 and especially the Kamzat Chimaev win?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that one. That was pretty crazy. The whatever it's called, the face crank, I guess you would call it, that Chimaev threw on Whitaker.
Yes, and I think that it was like for me it was like a quite big surprise. Maybe not I favorite Robert Whittaker to win, but of course Kamsat is a very good fighter before the fight. But I was surprised that it happened in this way. That it
Yeah,
was like just 3 or 4 minutes, and it was like pure domination. This was something that I was like really surprised with.
yeah. I'm bad at like picking who's gonna win in fights. So I thought Holloway was gonna win. I thought Whitaker was gonna win. So yeah, it was a little bit surprising, but yeah, both those guys are definitely like legit, like top of the top of the division fighters.
And for now, do you have a like UFC fight that you are really waiting for to happen?
Like one that I'm looking forward to watching.
Yes, yes.
Um, oh, the Michael Chandler and Oliveira one's gonna be good. I'd like to watch that one. Jones and Stipe is like that one's the one coming up next, but I'm not overly excited to watch it, but I'll still watch it. I wish he was fighting Aspinall, but yeah, he's fighting Stipe, so I'll still watch it, but it's a little bit late in their careers to enjoy it fully.
Yes, I think that it would be like overall, it's like you can build great marketing behind it because it's best fighter ever against best heavyweight ever. But you can look at this fight like from the other points of view, and you can see that Stipe didn't like won for like for years even, I believe.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that, like the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight. It would have been cool if it was a little bit sooner, a little bit earlier in their career, but it'll still be fun to watch, just not as fun as when they were in their prime.
And overall, who is your like the most favorite fighter to watch? Do you prefer to watch like strikers, grapplers?
I really like to so when I'm studying fighters to like take techniques from, I like to watch Volkanovski and like Khabib, Nurmagomedov. Those are like the two guys that I steal a lot of stuff from. And then for entertainment, I like to watch like Justin Gaethje and like Alex Pereira.
And I think it is also unusual thing that for like few years that the middleweight champions were kickboxers. Of course, not pure kickboxers because they are also like for many years right now, especially Israel Adesanya, like MMA fighter, but in the end with the kickboxing background. So it's kind of crazy because I think that it in like 2019 nobody would believe it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little bit crazy. I seeing that, I was like, oh, all it's gonna take is someone like Chimaev or someone like Bo Nickel. Like all it's gonna take is like a strong wrestler to get there, and then they're gonna easily win the belt. But um, yeah, it didn't kind of line up that way. But I was hoping Chimaev would have made it through in time, but he kind of like sat out for a little bit and he had injuries and whatnot.
And outside of fighting game, do you have any like maybe additional hobby or passions, something like this except MMA and wrestling?
Um, Not overly like wrestling, fighting. Those are like my passions. Yeah, I work as a substitute teacher, so I do that as well for work. And then in the off time, then I'm like training and fighting and wrestling and doing all that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Me hanging with my girlfriend, like that's pretty simple stuff. Yeah, not too much.
And do you also coach wrestling?
Kind of. So I'm technically like a coach with the university team, but I kind of just like show up and wrestle with some of the guys once or twice a week. I don't do too much like actual coaching. I'll show up and I'll train with a guy and then I'll like help him out on some stuff. And so yeah, I'm kind of an assistant coach with that. And then I coached a lot of like I coached a lot of like elementary, high school. Or no, I didn't coach a ton of high school. I coached a lot of elementary school wrestling when I was younger. But lately I've been mostly just focusing on my own training and just like working.
And I have a also few questions outside of fighting. If you have to write a book, but about any subject, but not MMA and not wrestling, so you have this kind of knowledge that you can share with other people, what it could be.
A book that's not related to MMA, you said, if I were to write one?
Yes, it doesn't have to be like 300 pages or something
Yeah.
like this, but like even a small one.
Um, so I'd probably write a book on like something to do with probably have to be something to do with like what's it called? Like keeping kids like coming to school through like physical activity and like sports and stuff like that because that's a big reason why I got into like coaching and stuff is because uh I wanted to like I wanted to coach kids and have them enjoy a sport that like promotes them coming to school because a lot of kids will like not go to school in certain areas. And then if they have a sport, they'll go to school. And I'd probably write a book on something like that, something to do with that.
Yes, and the sport is like a perfect way to bring like children together. It's not it's not like the study of something, but the sport that like the physical activity, this kind of aspect, and the like working as a team. I think that is like a great way to bring children or even people
Yeah.
next to you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And do you have a like a goal or dream also outside of fighting that you would like to accomplish in next few years?
Um, Not really. Not overly. Mostly, yeah, I'm pretty like content and happy with like my life outside of fighting. Most of my goals are pretty much just within fighting. And other than that, just like yeah, nothing like anytime soon. At some point, I would like to like after my fighting career, I would like to do some sort of coaching or teaching where I can sort of give back to kids and work with them and kind of provide them with the same opportunities that I had through wrestling. But that's more of like a long-term goal. Short term, I don't really have any other goals outside of fighting. Just keep living how I'm living.
Okay, Hunter. So many thanks for the conversation. I hope that in next year you will fight a few times again against like high level competition, and maybe in the end of next year or 2026 we can see you in the like bigger promotion, maybe UFC, maybe some other promotion, but with you as the one of the fighters there, and of course being active one.
Yeah, thank you. I would love to fight anywhere. Honestly, if anyone is around 185 pounds and would like to fight me, feel free to send me a message. We can get it set up. I'll connect you to my managers if you want to come up and fight me at the next unified card. I would love to get a fight set up for the next unified card. 185 pounds, anyone. I'll fight anyone.
And it's actually a good chance to take your oath. So for like any fighter, just contact the manager, and you can fight against like undefeated wrestler.
Yeah. If anyone thinks they can beat me, send me a message. We'll get it set up.